This class is about non-sexual ways to connect with your partner. So many times after betrayal, well, usually I'm gonna hopefully not paint a broad brush, but usually the men really want to jump back into sex really quick. They in your traditional male female relationship, they're maybe sexting you, thinking that you want sex talk from them, or they're talking to you as if you're in a porno movie, and that's not what people want. They need more sensitivity, patience, kindness, all this other stuff. But men oftentimes do try to solve problems, especially with betrayal, with affairs, or sexual betrayal with sex. That's not the case the majority of the time, that what the other side is receptive to, but it is how men think. So this is something to share, if you're watching this as the betrayed, maybe something to share with your partner, or just some things that you can suggest, instead of being sexual, if you are not there yet, because sex after infidelity is complex, multi-layered, with tons of emotional flooding, triggers, you name it. So and I always say, intimacy or sex without safety is trauma, period. So you're re-traumatizing yourself by jumping back into sex before safety has been instituted. Okay, so these are in no particular order, and there are ways to reintroduce intimacy back into your relationship without necessarily sex. Okay, so it's a broad overview. The first one is affectionate intimacy. So the intention here is to connect. This could be with words, I love you. This could be with a quick kiss. And I say quick because anything more elongated could lead into more of the realm of sex, and we're not there yet. This could be talking to your partner, saying compliments. I'm so glad we're together. I'm so glad we're rebuilding. I'm so glad we're, A, B, and C. This could be a quick hug. Hugs are not only soothing, they're connecting, and they're healing. Again, quick hug. Because I'm sorry to be graphic, but men have a tendency to hug. Next thing you know, they're gyrating, and then again, in your typical male-female relationship, then the women are aggravated because, like, is that all you think about? And I was enjoying the hug, and now you're taking it here. So, making it sure that these are the boundaries we're doing when it comes to affectionate intimacy. It's a quick hug, that's it. Basically, it's anything that shows your partner or spouse affection with no physical or sexual contact, or physical contact that absolutely does not lead to, and this will vary depending on the couple, anything sexual. Some guys can hug and for 20 minutes and be completely fine with it. Other men, the minute they hug, their second brain, well, with some men it's their first brain, starts to react. Okay, physical. The intention here is to do something physical together, not with one another, together. So this could be going for a walk, playing tennis, swimming together, bike riding, ping pong, anything physical connecting to do with one another, not to one another. For instance, you shouldn't be Jello wrestling. This isn't something you're doing together with one another. It's just simply together to build that intimacy again, that trust, and simply to bring some fun back into your relationship. Because I don't have to tell you, healing from betrayal is the furthest from fun. All right, aesthetic. So aesthetic is basically enjoying something beautiful together or experiencing something beautiful together. This could be listening to music together. And this is a great way. I'm telling you, I've been married going on 21 years. I have to say my spouse was into bands like U2 and stuff like that. No, sorry. Tried, couldn't do it. But when I exposed good music to my spouse, Patti LaBelle, Barbara Streisand, Linda Ronstadt, the Judds, Dolly Parton, you also get to learn about one another. You really get to learn a lot when you share your music interests with your partner. Um, Also, I mean, oh my gosh, YouTube. We would spend hours in bed at night just YouTubing old videos on MTV. Holy crap, I'm dating myself now. But I'm talking Escape Club, all these awesome videos back in the 80s, and just kind of, letting each other in on a little bit of our childhood and our past. So it's a fun thing. It's definitely connecting. Looking at the sunset together. This really brings a lot of relaxed conversation as well. And hey, even if you're sitting there silent, wonderful, just looking at the sunset. Enjoy a glass of wine while watching a documentary or an online museum or online theater. Or if your museum allows, a glass of wine while you're walking around, or your theater, or we have theaters here where you are allowed to drink an adult beverage while you're there. And if you're not a drinker for many reasons, just watching a documentary together, or exploring a museum, theater, the zoo, anything along those lines. Watching the stars. Again, this is fun. It's you're sharing a special moment. It's bonding. You could talk about anything from look at the Little Dipper to look at the formation of those stars. Doesn't it look like a baby bottle? Blah blah blah. It's just connecting, just showing some intimacy, bringing intimacy back into your relationship. And I would even venture to say that you could add a vision board to this component, because it's doing something physical together. It's experiencing something new together. And a vision board, if you're not familiar with that, basically it's just clipping out some things, that some articles or some pictures in magazines or newspapers where you would like to see yourself in the future, whether that's teaching a class, singing in front of an audience, writing a novel, what have you, and putting it on your vision board. This is something to do together. And if you're rebuilding, you could actually help each other accomplish things that are on that vision board. All right, spiritual connecting. This would be attending a church or a religious service together. This could mean praying together. If you are a couple of faith, I always say couples stand tallest when they're on their knees. Praying together is, again, if you are a religious, a spiritual couple, brings you back to a foundation. So many times couples don't know what to come back to because they don't have an island. If spirituality is your foundation, you both have that in agreement. You can come back to your island of safety. That could be meditating together. You or discuss something spiritual. This is not a spiritual argument. Do you believe in rosary beads? Do you believe in praying in tongues? Do you believe in casting out devils? Do you believe in you have to go to church 6 days a week to be saved? No. It's discussing the things you have in common spiritually. And some would even include taking a yoga class in this area, but just do your research. And the reason I say that is because I never took yoga before. My spouse and I never took yoga before. And we actually did take a yoga class, and it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I was in my 20s, I think. Lord have mercy. You would have thought I was put in one of those old-fashioned washers. Now I'm really dating myself. Where you put it in between those two roller things and you wring out the clothes. I was hurting after I was done with yoga. So I was like, and that kind of turned me off to yoga. And it's not yoga's fault. It's my fault because I didn't do my research. I probably should have looked into something, more, whatever, beginner, relaxing, meditative, healing, soothing, blah, blah, blah. So look into a yoga class together. That would be nice, something. Okay. Connecting intimately intellectually with the person you're rebuilding. This could include sharing something interesting you have read about or heard and learned about. So what you're doing is you're connecting via intellectual stimulation. So you're stimulating intellectually, you're bonding, doing something together. This could look like sharing an article that you read, or a book you're reading. Again, this is not to debate politically, financially, spiritual. If you read an article on how, couples should do this with their finances, I'd kind of stay away from that. This is preferably a positive story that you've heard, something inspiring, something educational, something entertaining. That's what you want to share. Nothing that's divisive or something you guys don't see eye to eye on. It's, wow, they just invented this robot that can sense if you're having a heart attack and he automatically dials 911. Oh, wow, interesting. That's nothing to debate. It's just a very interesting story. Things like that, share. Social intimacy. This can include going out to a restaurant with the person you're trying to rebuild with, date night. You could also double date if you guys are in a comfortable place like that. One of the difficult challenges, and you may want to talk about this before you guys open up this social intimacy, connecting, bonding situation, is how are we going to react when other people bring up infidelity? And it's not your infidelity I'm talking about, just the subject of infidelity. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we're out with our friends and so is saying, oh, do you know Sue and so? She just caught her husband doing this, whatever. And if you're involved in that, if you're dealing with betrayal, that's going to cause triggers, emotional flooding, anger, resentment, sadness, blah, blah. You guys have to discuss together how you're going to handle that. Does that mean, your partner is going to put their hand on your leg under the table just to kind of say, I got you? Does that mean you guys are just going to decide you're not going to participate in that conversation? Does that mean you have to decide together if somebody brings up infidelity, and again, this is not even your infidelity, because 9 times out of 10, you're not even sharing your infidelity with friends and family. Of course, a lot of you are, whatever. But you will be out with people and infidelity is brought up. How are you going to handle that situation? Is one person or the other going to try to gently switch the topic? Are they, or are you going to be passive aggressive and say, yes, they're dirty bastard dogs? Hopefully not, but talk about it beforehand, because it is going to happen. Simply put, it's a topic of conversation nowadays. Going out to a comedy club together. Ooh, laughter is the best medicine. And man, when you're in a fetal position after you've been betrayed, you're not up to laughing. You're not going to laugh, but just be open to the possibility of something funny, because laughter is the best medicine. Now, when you're working on rebuilding and moving forward with a partner, I would definitely look into a comedy club together, because laughter kind of resparks and rekindles that connection. So I highly recommend a comedy club with the person you're trying to rebuild with, reconnect with. Again, this could be getting together with your neighbors, with friends, people from your church, anything at all that consists of being out socially. And if you're not ready to be involved intimately, socially, via double dating, then just going to the mall together. That way you're around people, but people aren't around you. Okay, emotional intimacy. This one can get a little tricky. It can get a little heated if you're not very careful. And this is why you always want to share your feelings using I statements. Only talk about your feelings. So instead of you need to stop leaving your shoes by the door, how about when I come home and see shoes by the door, I feel nervous. This way you're not blaming, you're just sharing feelings, and feelings are never wrong. Blaming is wrong. Blaming can lead to an argument, often will, but sharing your feelings, unless you're with somebody who's, well, I'm not going to use a vulgar word, but unless you're with someone who's extremely immature, they're not going to blame you for sharing your feelings. And if they do, you have some other problems other than betrayal. Okay, now I want to get into a little bit more. Okay, we're going to do that, or we've done that. Now we're maybe possibly introducing sex back into the relationship. Here are a few quick things you can do to bridge the gap between no sex and sex. Now, keep in mind, some of these you can do let's just say you went on a 30-day no sex, or a 3-day no sex, or you don't know no sex. Maybe it'll never happen again. Maybe it's going to happen as soon as you shut this class off. So these things can happen anytime. Well, for instance, a body massage. You can make it very clear to your partner, we can introduce body massages, but they are not going to lead to anywhere. And you both got to respect that. You can also have the protocol, the plans, the forethought, what have you, of let's start with a body massage and see where it goes. And that's fine too, but you got to be connected and respectful. So a body massage, and again, you have the rules. If you want to include the whole body, include the whole body. If you want to skip the private parts, skip the private parts. If you just want to do upper back and feet and face, wonderful. This is your comfort level introducing physical intimacy that could ultimately lead into sex. Showering together, and listen, people shower with their clothes on after betrayal. It's like, listen, I don't mind going in the shower with you. I don't even mind if we occasionally hug and kiss, but I want you to have clothes on and I'm going to have clothes on. This is your healing, your rules. Taking a bubble bath together. If you can take a bubble bath, depending on the size of your bath, one can be on one side, one can be on the other, where, it starts with you're playing footsies, maybe you're rubbing your hands on the leg, whatever. Again, it can go as far as you want, or, okay, this is as far as it's going, stop. And that's got to be respected. As we move closer into sexual bonding, maybe we can start with lying down next to one another with self-stimulation. If you're comfortable with that, or you want to move beyond that, okay, just mutual stimulation, but nothing other than that. It's just, I will use my hands to stimulate you. You can use your hands to stimulate me. I mean, we can talk, we can kiss. We don't even know if we're going to get to any point of orgasm, but this is where we're stopping. Or you can simply say, let's start with self-pleasuring. If we're comfortable, we can go to mutual pleasuring. If we're comfortable, we can go right into whatever it is you do. The bottom line is there has to be safety there, and there has to be respect. So if that means either one says stop means stop, no means no, I'm good means I'm good. Intimacy and sex without safety is trauma. We don't want to bring any more trauma into this situation. So again, I can't emphasize enough, you got to have boundaries with all of this. I don't care if you're walking at a museum talking about how why did Picasso cut his ear off? I think it was Van Gogh. Or you're mutually stimulating yourself physically in bed. You got to have your boundaries, and you got to stick to your boundaries, and both parties have to respect those boundaries. So open and honest communication is of the utmost critical, and respect is absolutely critical. And again, this is where attunement, and if you don't know what attunement is, I was thinking of one of these days to give a class, but here's the deal. Even if one or the other party doesn't say, "Ooh, I think I'm good," both parties should hopefully be so in tune with one another that their facial gestures say, okay, I think you're going a little too far, let's hold off. And the other person picks up on that, catches that, and acts on it. And again, like I always say, at any point, any couple says stop, you gotta stop. If you are rebuilding and you're 40, 50, 60, we're living to be 80 years old, 90 years old. You have 20, 30, 40 years to be physical, sexual. That nothing has to happen overnight. Nothing has to happen in weeks or months. Take it as slow as possible, because once that safety comes back in, and that intimacy comes back in, and sex comes back in, do you. But until then, take it slow, because you could really seriously traumatize yourself again, and that could absolutely set you back months, years, and now you have additional issues in your marriage that you need to work on. So set your boundaries, open communication, and be respectful to those boundaries. Both parties have to be. I hope any of these components helped you. as always with anything in my class, enjoy the meat, throw away the bone. There's going to be some things you wholeheartedly agreed with, some things you wholeheartedly disagreed with, some things you can take and modify, some things I mentioned you can build on. Do you. It's your healing. And if you need help, as Blondie said in the 70s, call me. All right. On that note, guys, it's been wonderful. And I truly wish you the best of success, not only with healing from betrayal, but your life, because betrayal affects every part of our life, every part of our body, every part of our life. But if we take it and utilize it and heal from it, man, can we just be unstoppable.